it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you, it might not. All right. So I just heard tying it all together. I feel like if this is your message, you really are coming to grips with the fact that a person, place, or thing, although I really do feel like this is a person for most of you, and I feel like this was a romantic situation, but of course take this however it's resonating, but this person, place, or thing really is not at all the person that you thought they were. In fact, I feel like this person is an illusion and they are a lie. I feel like you're understanding that they manipulated you. They are a manipulator. And I think this person presented themselves to you as some kind of romantic ideal. I'm hearing romantic fantasy, romantic illusion. And it's like they dangled that in front of you. They really wanted you to like buy into that. And I feel like you really did here for a while, but something has ended. And I do feel like it could have been a breakup here for a lot of you. And I feel like it's the breakup, whether or not this person knows it, because I do think this person thinks they're pretty good at manipulating and coaxing. Coaxing is really the word I would associate with this person. But they think that they're very good at that. And so maybe they thought that they could just come back around and like hoover you into another cycle whenever they wanted to. But I really don't think it's going to fly this time because of maybe the way that this, because I feel for some of you, this person did something that you find so like unacceptable. And it could have been the way that they left or when they left or how they left or something. You know how people say that you don't really know someone fully until you break up with them? And I'm hearing that Taylor Swift lyric that says, "And down here from the ground, I see who you are." So I feel like this person, the way that they ended things really showed you a lot about who this person is. And it's almost like you can't unsee it. But it's kind of got the quality too of like when somebody no longer wants something from you, which maybe is why that holds true of like, well, how does somebody handle the breakup? Because that really says a lot about their character, because they no longer want something from you. They no longer want to invest in a future together. So how do they handle the situation then? That's going to reflect more on their character and who they are as a person than how they're engaging with you if they feel like they stand to gain something. There's too much of themselves in it, you know? And I feel like you've seen that about this person. I am hearing the word ghost. Like for a lot of you, this person, you know, could have ghosted, but you have some kind of information about this person now. And because you have some more information, it's like you know who this person is. And now I feel like you've got your fact-finding hat on and you're combing through the memories and you know, certain conversations that you had and certain actions that they did at certain times. And you're seeing those things much differently. And you're kind of realizing that the truth of the situation and the truth of who this person actually is, which is some kind of like very skilled manipulator, was actually kind of poking through. Although it was very, very hard to see because this person really lays it on thick, I want to say. Like this is a person who is just very good at coaxing. This is a very coaxing devil. This is devil energy. And I think that you're in your Isis energy and you've got your fact-finding hat on and you're combing through like the memories and the conversations, and you really are now able to put the full picture together of this person. Although while you were doing it, I think it's maybe been like one horrifying or shocking realization after another until you finally have the full picture of this person. I think that you're kind of like horrified, or honestly it's maybe like even creeped out, like it's like an eerie feeling, or like disgusted with the picture of what it is that you see before you. And I think you're just staring at this like, oh my gosh, because I feel like this was a really harrowing experience, and maybe you even feel like it was a very cruel experience, but this has been an experience about unmasking this kind of hidden enemy energy in your midst. And I think it's been a hard learning for you to know that sometimes like our biggest enemies present as our closest allies, you know, or somebody that you are very intimate with, or that you want to be very intimate with, sharing your home space, sharing your emotions, your mind, your body, you know, all of that. And you could have wanted all of those things with this person, or had those things with this person, a home and a family and what you thought was emotional intimacy. But I think you're realizing that it was all just one, I'm hearing like long con, or it was like a con. I'm hearing another Taylor Swift lyric. Me and Taylor just channeling this for you today. No, but it's like a con man sells a fool a get love quick scheme. So I think you're realizing that what you thought was some kind of I'm seeing like the King of Cups in my mind. You thought this was like a King of Cups energy. So you could have definitely thought this was like love between the two of you, spiritual love at that, strong soulmate energy. I think you looked at this person like a King of Cups, somebody who was, you know, maybe very social and very emotional and maybe emotionally developed. I think this person could have had, I think they're very adept with language, this person, very good at building relationships, or so you thought, but I really think this person builds very superficial relationships. I think they're good at conning. I think they're good at conversation. And I'm seeing the moon, but I'm also seeing Mercury in my mind. And I do feel like this has been an exploration of these two energies. And I'll talk about that more in a second, but I feel like this person seduced you in some, it's very coaxing. This is a very coaxing devil. And I feel like that's the creepy feeling that I'm getting. This is not a devil that just opposes you, you know, or even tries to, there is like a baiting into some kind of impulsive action, but it feels like a long lead up to that. And it's done by pretending to be your friend and pretending to be intimate, pretending to hold space, pretending to care. But I feel like when you look back at your relationship with this person, I feel like they were in and out of your life, but I feel it was hard for you to understand that that's what was going on, because it just seemed very tidal. That with that moon energy, it seemed like it just went with the seasons or with the tides, that this person just naturally would roll in and out of your life. But I actually think there was quite a bit of planning, or there was like a lot of deceit, a lot of intentionality behind that. Because this person is so good at hiding things and making things seem better than what they are, and getting you to focus on the parts of themselves that they want you to focus on. They're so seamless. I'm picturing somebody driving a stick shift and just like seamlessly switching through different gears. This person is so practiced at manipulating, at doing that, and that's how they get what they want. But I think it comes off to you as very authentic, because that moon energy, the watery energy, the King of Cups energy, I think that you're used to that being attached to something real, or being a signifier of something very real, something with a lot of depth, something with authenticity, something with intimacy. And so I think you thought you could put more weight on this situation, and I think that was what, it's almost like you were led to fill in the gaps about this by this person. That's what I'm saying. There's a real kind of deft quality to this person and to what it is that they do, because they do leave certain things intentionally unsaid, and then you fill in the gaps or whatever. And I feel like part of that has to do with timing and location of when this person would re-enter your life, and it has to do with this moon energy. So it could be that this person presented themselves as very like charismatic and very elegant and very warm and nurturing, and you know, just I'm seeing like a full moon, you know, so like very, I don't know, like very warm, very intimate in your life. It could be that this person came in and out of your home at certain times, but this also was like you sharing your emotions and you sharing your mind. So it could have been that you had deep conversations with this person, like once in a blue moon is what I'm hearing, like once in a blue moon, but they really stuck with you. They really resonated with you because you felt like it was intimate. It could have happened at night, like you guys staying up and talking late or something, and so you could have thought that it was the two of you bonding, but there was no, the moon can also be the sustainer for me, and I think that's what was missing, because there's a cyclical energy to this person, but nothing was ever really sustained. So it was like there was these like really intense hits, but it wasn't actually sustained, but it always kind of like left you wondering. And the moon can be kind of like an addictive energy as well, and like a craving energy. So I think this person would kind of leave you craving more. And I do feel like this was intentionally done. This person is like a master manipulator. They knew what they were doing. And I think you could have been in a toxic relationship cycle with this person for quite a while and not even realized that that's what it was, because that is the quality of manipulator that we are dealing with here. And I'm even getting moon imagery for that, because it's like this person is so skillful at getting you to focus on the things that they light up for you and the things that they want you to focus on, and having you not even question the rest of it. Like it still somewhat makes sense to you. Kind of like when the moon is full and it gives that illusion of wholeness, you're still only ever seeing half of the moon. There's the whole dark side of the moon. It's giving double life. It's giving two-faced. I think you finally realize that that's what this was, and I feel like that's what you're coming to terms with and coming to grips with. So I feel like it probably put you in your emotional space pretty hard, and by all means go through your cycles of grief, your cycles of emotion. You probably feel very like rattled, taken advantage of. Like this is like really intense emotions. This is like disturbed, disgusted, violated, you know, all of those things kind of coming to terms with the reality of who this person actually is, and that you didn't have the truth, and that was very intentional on their part, and that they actually used that moon energy, the friendly energy, the intimacy, the emotional space, home, family. They used those like precious, almost like sacred things that we all want, like deep down in our core. They used that in order to do it. And so by all means, like, go through your grieving process. But this is hard energy to see through. This is really, really hard energy. And I feel like this was a hard learning. And you might even think that this has been a cruel lesson and a cruel learning. And we'll unpack here kind of like the visceral quality of, I think, some of these things that you have been exploring. But I want to keep going in with this like toxic relationship cycle here for a second, because not only does this person get you to kind of focus on the parts of themselves, and like if the moon is metaphorical of this person's home life or their inner space or their whole life, it's like they only light up certain parts of it. And I do think that's cyclical, and it has to do with time, and it has to do with location, like what parts of it that you are seeing. You know, they run into you at like certain events where a certain side of them comes out, but then this person spends a significant amount of time in maybe other scenes that you would not like, or it would give you a whole picture of this person and a different picture of this person, and they hide that from you. You know, it's very much giving that, and a timing, like when this person kind of rushes in and when they rush out, how long they stay, like all of that. It feels very intentional on this person's part in order to show you a certain side of themselves and in order to hide others, which ties back into this toxic relationship cycle, because the toxic relationship cycle is that idealization, devalue, discard, and then a lot of times there's that Hoover attempt where they come back around after they've discarded you, and then they repeat that idealization phase. And a lot of times there's hurt and confusion when somebody discards you, so it feels all better whenever that person comes back around. And it's this energy of like that high energy again, you know? And I feel like that's what this person was doing, but I think they're so good at it because the moon is like tidal, cyclical, it's very natural. So I feel like the way this person was kind of coming in and out of your life, it felt organic, it felt natural. And I think, again, the things this person was letting you see, and then the things this person was not letting you see, helped assist painting that picture for you that this was a part of this person's natural routine. They could have used moon things like, oh, well, my mom is sick, or I gotta go take care of my family. This person could travel for work, maybe to give like public engagements or something, because the moon can be a very public energy. Or yeah, I don't know, like it could have seemed very legit to you that this person would kind of come in and out. But I kind of feel that this person's schedule it suits I'm seeing the werewolf energy, like it suits that werewolf side of things. It suits their cravings a lot more than you were led to believe or that you realize, because I don't think you're a person who operates this way. So the fact that this person does, I think just would, like, I don't know, startle you. This is so extreme, like, with this person. So I think this person was a lot more calculated in their moves, and this is like a structure. There's a structure behind this. So it's like when this person, whenever they would come into your life, it would seem very intense. And I think you have moments with this person, conversations. With that moon energy, it's like you could stay up all night talking. It could feel very intimate. So like you could spend the night with this person, or maybe a month. I mean, moon is kind of like a month cycle where this person was maybe staying with you in your home or something. And it felt like very emotional, and it felt bonded and creative and emotional and intense. But I think what you'll realize is that that was just a blip in time. Because the moon to me is also the sustainer, and this person can't sustain. They're actually very afraid of that, of like settling into some kind of like long-term routine, which is why this person kind of like cycles in and out of other people's beds, in and out of different people's homes. Because I think this person's coming across kind of a bit like an addict, to be honest. So your person could be dealing with, this is definitely like love addict energy, but I think this person may well have other addictions, like some kind of dopamine issue. This person is always looking for like the next high in order to distract themselves. But they're definitely striking me as an anxious attacher, because, you know, what's different between an anxious attacher and someone who is securely attached and someone who's like has an avoidant attachment style, amongst other things, but is that they feel unsafe when the relationship moves beyond the like love bombing stage, like that like oh my gosh, everything's so enamorous, like so amorous, so enamoring, and we're so wrapped up in each other, because they honestly, some part within them feels that once that part goes away, the excitement, the newness, the intensity of all of that, which it's not built to last, right? Once that goes away, they're honestly afraid, I think, of being left and of being cheated on. And I think you sense that in this person, but it doesn't change the fact that they're essentially, it's like getting into a relationship with a razor blade, because they just, in your most intimate spaces, like in your heart and in your mind, because this person's behavior is like that they cut, it's cutting, they cut and run, and it comes off very cold and detached. It is very much like, I'm going to leave you before you leave me. They're a coward, because it's also like this person wants you stuck on them. They want you, because I think this person may well idealize you. They idealize somebody here. But I think they idealize you and the relationship with you, or this person's just constantly trying to preoccupy themselves. But I think for a lot of you, they do idealize you. And because of that, it's like they want to appear, they want you to idealize them. They want you to fantasize about them. They want to captivate your attention. And the way this person has figured out how to do this is to manufacture this scarcity, you know? It's kind of like supply and demand. Well, you know, they want your demand for them to be high and the supply to just be, you know, so low because of their schedule or because of their commitments, or I don't know what else. But that's basically what this is they want to come off like a mystery, like with that moon. Very seductive, very elegant, charismatic, but also like a mystery. Like I'm hearing, where do you go when you're gone? So yeah, like where do you go when you're gone? Like maybe this person also wants you to feel a little bit mystified, like, well, does this person have other options? Because I feel like this person is like very seductive. And that's kind of how they maneuver around. It's like they're very maybe flirty or very seductive. But yeah, they want you to idealize them. So I feel like the way that they do that is by having these very intense bursts of short energy with you. And in a weird way, I feel like that is love for this person. Like I said, I mean, like when they, yeah, in a weird way, I feel like this person wants to keep you pining because they feel like you're never gonna leave them. But I feel like they miscalculated this with you, because you're either securely attached, where you are securely attached, like enough said, or you're an avoidant, and avoidants tend to like to get into the stability phase of a relationship. And like that's where they actually feel most comfortable to open up and be intimate. So it's like you're on different schedules with this person. You could literally be on different schedules with this person. Like one of you could work daytime, one of you could work nighttime, or you could live in different time zones, or I don't know. There could be, you could live in different countries. I don't know. There's definitely like a timing factor. And I think you'll realize maybe that did play a big part in it, is the seemingly natural, oh, I come into your life for a very brief, intense experience, but it wasn't, there's no sustainability factor. It's not sustaining. They come in and then they go out and they leave you wanting more. And it's more akin to like building an addiction. And I feel like that's what you are exploring now, is this kind of, the way it's coming across to me is like moon, Mercury energy, because I do think you're a very sunny side up person. I think that you have a very good relationship within yourself of that moon energy and the Mercury energy, but it is incomplete. And I just heard that song by James Bay, like maybe we just have to learn how to be incomplete. Maybe you felt like this person completed you. Maybe that was their intention, because I feel like this person is very good at reading a person. It's all coming from a very shallow place. That's that manipulator energy. It's they've kind of, I'm kind of getting like locksmith energy. And there's a Halsey song that just flashed into my mind where it's like I tried so hard not to let you in, but she's so damn good with a bobby pin. It's like this person can pick a lock with a bobby pin. And so you might feel like you're very guarded and that, you know, you're very protected, but then this person somehow found a way to like pick your lock. This person's very good at that. And it is a type of skill, but I mean, this person, it's giving like thief, you know, it's giving, and I think you misunderstood that energy when this person was able to kind of get through your walls. I think you thought there was something behind that, like there was depth there, or that it was intimate, like that word keeps coming through. But instead, I feel like this is a devil energy, this is hidden enemy energy, and it's very coaxing. That word coaxing, like it really, that is the word for this person. It's a very coaxing devil. And I feel like that also had you very confused, because this person, I think, does play the long game with a lot of people, because they are in and out of a lot of different people's lives. And I think they jump from flower to flower, home to home, lily pad to lily pad, whatever, to keep themselves kind of busy and preoccupied, and then they kind of come back around. So while you're going about the mundanities of life and trying to live your life in a healthy way and treat people fairly, and you know, this person is preoccupying themselves. And so it doesn't feel like this person's like forever trying to escape a void. That's what it is. And I feel like because of that, it's like they just displace void energy like towards other people, which might have been what you felt like happened to you. But I feel like this is this exploration of this moon energy and Mercury energy, because like I said, you might have had an idealized version of these things, or these things could have been something. I feel like this person also like latched on to something that you valued or you wanted or you needed, and then they used that against you. I feel like that's what hurts the most, is like this intimate space. They used like your heart or your neediness, you know, because moon is like the nurturer. Maybe you thought this person was that for you, like very nurturing, very soft, very caring, very understanding. Maybe you thought that there was a meeting of the minds here, right? But I feel like you, again, it's that I can only see half of the moon, but it gives the impression of fullness. And I'm getting that with like, we're going to move to like more of a realm of like ideas and philosophies for a second, like with this moon Mercury energy, because I think when you think of the moon, you think of the positive qualities of the moon, like in your life, or you look for that in other people, and certainly in the people that you date, of like that happy home life, emotional life, you know, cyclical life, all of that. And same with Mercury. Mercury is like very skillful energy and a conversational energy and stuff. But both of these energies have a dark side. And I feel like that was kind of your exploration of that. I don't think you really understood. And I don't mean that you're stupid. I think you understood this like as a concept, like as an idea, but that Eastern understanding of like knowing from a visceral place, like I feel like you will never forget this, like in your lifetimes. Like this was such a visceral experience. And again, I think it brought up feelings of, honestly, like at first it was like romance and whatever, but then it was like disgust with what it was that you were faced with, or it was something akin to that, like a really gross, like, oh my gosh, like this is heinous, this is unacceptable, like I can't believe a person like that exists, I can't believe there's somebody who would use that, weaponize that against a person, or approach their relationships or their life from this way. Like I feel like it's giving that, it's very Pluto, where like it's very, oh my gosh, like this is the deepest thing ever, or it's giving absolute like repulsion. And I feel like that something like that is going on here. And it's because I think this person sort of, again, they play the long game, but it still comes from this very superficial energy. And it's like this buildup, and it is devil energy. And I talk about devil energy. To me, it is being very like impulsive and taking something that's short-term gratifying over a longer term, like your longer term well-being and sustainability. I feel like you're a goody two-shoes, honestly. Like it's giving that you're actually very responsible, that you are the builder, where this person is the saboteur. That I think you are a very spiritual person. Even if this person caused you to have a lapse in your judgment, or tempted you, or seduced you, and they tapped your mind energy, they tapped some kind of illusion, fantasy energy, they tapped needy energy, craving energy in order to do that. And I feel like this person did it over a long period of time, and I think they did it on purpose, and I think that they were meaning to make this kind of like encountering brief kind of mark on you. And so I think you're realizing that the way that this devil, this very coaxing devil, like took advantage of some kind of impulsive energy, or manufactured it, or built up like to this kind of crescendo, was slowly over time by building a manufactured sense of intimacy between the two of you. And so I think for you, you could have blamed yourself for this in some way, but like it felt to you like it was just this momentary impulse. But this person had been kind of building towards this for a while, because that's what they do. And it's very cruel. This is very cruel energy. And again, it's hidden enemy. And I feel like you were meant to kind of like discover this, that sometimes our enemies come in wolf in sheep's clothing. Sometimes they put on this very convincing mask of intimacy and being everything that you ever wanted, and like taking advantage of like a mental weakness here that they are able to somehow perceive in you. And sometimes these energies, the moon energy and the Mercury energy, can be superficial. And I think that was a hard learning for you, because I feel like that's what you connected to with this person. Both the moon and Mercury are mental energies, they're mind energies. But like Mercury is that left-brained, problem-solving, has a job sort of mind, and moon is the entire mind, so including like that left-brained rational mind, the emotional mind, the creative mind, the limbic system, your prefrontal cortex, the id, the ego, the super ego, like all of it, the subconscious, all of it kind of like wrapped into one. And I feel like you felt that kind of connection here with this person, and I really think it was because of their display of some kind of performance. And I think it was some kind of conversational energy, because I feel like this person, they have a deaf deftness to them. That's that Mercury energy that's coming through. So they might have been very conversational. They could have been witty. They could have been able to talk about highbrow kind of topics with you, things that you were very interested in. I think you've seen this person work a room or be very conversational here, like with other people. And I think that you realize now that you kind of had a superficial glimpse, but I think whenever you see that in other people, and I think you possess this quality in yourself, because I think you felt this person was your match on that level. Like, I think you also have these qualities, and I think you've kind of been wanting someone who can meet you on that level. And I just heard it may be your girlfriends. Like, it may actually not be, it may not come in the form of a man. It may come from God, or it may come from somewhere else, like besides this, to find your actual like match in this. But I feel like that's what you were looking for, and you know in yourself, and maybe with like your girlfriends or people in your family or something, some like your platonic relationships, that oftentimes that deftness in conversation and that ability to kind of fit in with maybe like a lot of different groups of people or whatever, that a lot of times that's connected to something deeper beneath the surface, like a social emotional intelligence, a social emotional depth, a consciousness, a self-knowledge, a maturity, a refinement. And I think it shocked you to realize with this person that it's not. That it isn't. So I think with the Mercury energy, there's a skill here. Definitely conversational, but I'm kind of getting the image of someone playing an instrument, but I'm also hearing you say like playing me for a fool, playing me like a violin, like that kind of thing. Like this person has like a deftness, but it does come from a place of fear, like extreme fear of being found out, because this is how this person trades. It is like their bread and butter. So they are very good at this because it's like giving thief. I'm kind of seeing Aladdin, like riff raff, street rat, but this is like the bad Aladdin. This is like, maybe you thought this person was like the good Aladdin, like very innocent and had a pet monkey and wants to split a cantaloupe with you or whatever. Like, I don't know, but this person is a thief, like, and it's not cute, like whatever it is. Then the moon quality of this person, and honestly the Mercury and the moon quality here, I'm seeing the King of Cups in my mind, and you probably thought this person was your King of Cups. So a lot of love energy between the two of you, spiritual energy, depth energy, copacetic energy. You probably thought this person was your spiritual partner for sure. I think you thought they were very accomplished, like in an inner realm, and that you probably very much believed in this person's like skills, abilities, talents, because you thought you could see like the base of the iceberg. But you thought you could see the base of the iceberg through the tip of the iceberg, because I think you expressed maybe in some way very similar to that, and you know that your base is there. You probably also have a wound where you feel like people can't see the depth of you, that they just think that you're very superficial and that you're a lightweight energy, but you know the depth. And so you thought you had a kindred in this person. And I think you're seeing the version of you that other people think you are, but you're not actually. And I think you didn't think that existed, or it's very shocking that it does exist. I'm hearing the word traitor, treacherous. I just heard you be like, yeah, you're a traitor. Like a traitor to love. And I just heard, I'm addicted to love. So I think maybe this person is a love addict, or you feel like they made you get addicted. But anyways, back to this like King of Cups energy. I think, the King of Cups to me oftentimes talks about like an inheritance of some kind. Maybe this person has an inheritance coming in, or maybe you thought this was like, you've been working through so many things, and this was finally like your big spiritual like boon. This is what you were working towards, is like this love of your life kind of like energy, this spiritual partner kind of energy, only to find out that this person is like very superficial. And the King of Cups can have that quality. I remember reading in a book one time that the King of Cups in the original Rider-Waite, it's not the original, you know what I'm saying, the Rider-Waite deck, like I'm pretty sure he has a necklace on, a fish necklace. And so they talk about how, well, he's mastered the emotions, but in the masculine element, it kind of comes across in that like dead energy, like not dead, but it's inanimate, like that he wears like the token of it, like around his neck kind of thing. And I feel like that's what you found with this person. It's kind of like they just signal. They know how to signal a certain way. And that brings like over to the moon, because I think that you did feel this person was well-rounded. Maybe you liked hanging out with this person in a home space. They could have felt like home. But I think it was this person was love bombing you. That's what it was. And I think, that's what love bombing is. And it's so hard, like the crash of realizing like, oh my gosh, this is what people are talking about when they talk about narcissists. And you may well have been with other narcissists, because I'm telling you, this manipulator, this devil, this is a different kind of devil. This is a very coaxing devil. This is also very feminine energy that comes through masculine form. And a lot of times when we see that, it's so easy to be like, wow, that's a strong man. because it takes a strong man to express his feminine side, to be emotional or to be creative or to wear a scarf or like eyeshadow or something, you know, and you're like, wow, that guy is very secure, like in his manhood, in his masculinity, and he is unique and he's authentic and he's like determined to be himself. But I do feel like this person, it's a maneuver. It's whatever this person presented to you. But yeah, I think that you thought this person was your King of Cups, but it's because you didn't have the truth about this person. And I do think that whatever ending this was, whatever breakup, the ghosting, I think it shattered the illusion that this person had some kind of social emotional intelligence, the way that they ended things, or that they had some kind of social emotional, like whatever crescendo this led up to, either like an impulsive experience that you could have felt very taken advantage of, exploited, plundered, taken it, like, yeah, you realized that the person somehow, like the mask slipped in a major way, and you realized that this person is not the person that you thought they were. And I feel like spiritually, you had to see these negative qualities of the moon and of Mercury in this person. And it's teaching you a spiritual lesson about your own mind. And I think if you're honest with yourself, and I think as you're processing through this and you're peeling back the different layers of the onion, I think that might be what hurts the most, is that you feel like you believed this, or that you like all these things, like, well, you should have known better. But I'm telling you, this is like very tricky. This person is good at what they do. They're patient. This is like methodical, way more methodical. You were so vulnerable and you were so authentic, and that's such a beautiful energy. And it is grotesque to find out that somebody uses those things. I mean, it's inhuman. To find out that somebody uses those things against you, that is a very bad person. But this person wore the face of like a friend. They wore the face of a lover, a family member, somebody, intimacy, right? And I think that I think you're learning about the mind in a very visceral way, and how, like Ramana always says, like the mind is an obstacle on the path to enlightenment, and you're understanding how the mind works because you're starting to recognize and know. Again, I think you've always had the concept of this, like, but you've recognized this in a very visceral way, that sometimes the things we see aren't what's actually there. Jesus said, first remove the log from your own eye. So the mind, when we don't understand it, so much of the mind is subconscious. Think about all the things that we shove down to the shadow. All of that can lend itself towards having certain weaknesses, cravings that we might not understand where they come from. And it gives us a certain lens through which we're seeing life. That lens is built from our inadequacies, our fears, our hopes, our desires, our greatest wants, all the things that I feel like this person could so readily read in you and morph themselves into being, even if it was just for short bursts at a time. And this person could see it, and I feel like you couldn't see that necessarily about yourself. You thought that you were seeing the truth of somebody because that's how they presented. But I think you're realizing that the mind is a tool, and it can be our greatest tool or it can be our greatest enemy, and that perhaps in this situation, your mind was an enemy. So this is a hidden enemy that was somehow able to use your mind and your heart and your emotions against you and your needs against you. That's what I think hurts like the most. So I think this is a hard lesson in how to use the mind, like I'm hearing properly, how to use the mind as a tool, how to keep the mind in check, how to question the mind, how to question what you're seeing, how to deduce, right? Like, and the processes. And I think that you've also learned that a new way to navigate. You can't always navigate based on like whatever you think is in front of you. And I'm coming back to morals and principles. And what's ironic is I actually feel like this is a group of people that is very moral, and I think you're very principled. So I'm not telling you that to be like, oh, and you just like are a Jezebel. I think you may have been painted that way, or this person wanted you to think you were that because of the way that they treated you. And I think in like as a spiritual attack, this is probably part of the function of this, was to get to improperly mirror you to yourself, to get you to see a distorted version of yourself in this person's mirror. And there could have been other people involved here with that Mercury energy that's around, whether it's a child, or I'm hearing like gossip or something, like, yeah, or to get other people to believe this false version of you, that, you know, that you are not a principled person or something. But it's reminding me of the story of the moon, because this person's coming off very moon, like very masculine moon energy to me. And it's reminding me of the story like in Kritika, which is a sun-ruled nakshatra in Vedic astrology. And it's Aries into Taurus is where that sits in the zodiac. But there's Kritika is like the orphan, but the orphan that is taken care of by 9 different women, and those 9 women are the wives of the Brahmins, which the Brahmins are like the priests. So these are very like holy women. They're very like principled women, very values driven women. And all of those women get seduced by the moon, except for one, I think. And they get called like a bunch of names, you know, like the Jezebel or whatever. And I feel like that's you. Like, that's what I'm saying is like, you are very principled, but I feel like you fell for this because you fell for this person's like trick or their illusion because of all those things that I mentioned, because of the craving energy, because of, you know, this has pointed you probably into your shadow, into your subconscious, into the things that you want, like the things in you that can be exploited. And I think that maybe you didn't use the mind as adeptly in this situation and with this person as you would in any other scenario of your life, because I feel like this group really has it together, to be honest with you. I think you're very smart, and I think you are very principled. And I think that this was a way for you to learn that, like, the functionality of those principles, and that they're meant to, I'm hearing the light in the darkness when all other lights go out. And it's just having that understanding of God that, like, listen, okay, my soulmate energy is going to come in with the ends and the means are one. Like, it's going to come in. I'm not going to have to bend my morals to be with my soulmate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's divine energy, because the end and the means are one. And by their fruits you shall know them, kind of a thing. So I think it's just reaffirmed your use of principles and morals. And I think you've learned that when you're confused and when you can't fill in the gap, that's where you can apply those. I think you already have them. I think you're never going to get fooled like this again. I think people are going to misunderstand this about you, because I'm flashing to a Caleb Hammer that I watched. He's like a financial guy on YouTube, and there's things I like about him and there's things I don't. But there was a woman on there who I think had like I can't remember, she was married or she was going to get married, but she ended up sleeping with someone who was married. She thought he was her soulmate and everything, and then it turns out that he was just a big fat fake phony. And she had never done that before, and she was like, I'm really never going to do that since. Like, you could tell that she really did think that he was her person, and that she really meant it. I mean, I felt like I could tell that she really meant it when she was like, I'm not going to do that again. Like, I don't just go around doing that. I really thought that this was something. And I feel like if you did fall, you know, off of your path or something, then it's because you were under this like heavy manipulation, and it was intentional, and you had your mouth wide open and you ran right into it because you were so genuine and you were so authentic and you were so vulnerable. And I feel like that's just been such a visceral lesson for you. But you're understanding that the mind is a tool, and that it can be an obstacle, and that it can encourage us to believe things that are pretty lies that we want to believe, and that maybe it scratches that itch of craving energy. And so it's best that we kind of get to know ourselves. And I'm hearing that you just may unlock a version of yourself and a life and a path that you will go on, that, because I'm hearing I just heard born to be wild. So like you might I'm just getting like maybe you're very buttoned up or very straight and laced, but I'm hearing like you're free to be yourself after this, because I feel like this went right to the heart of something that you wanted most, like a family or love or a home, or you really wanted it. And this person exploited it in you and kind of ruined it, kind of like desecrated the temple. And I'm not saying that you're never going to love or anything like that. I just think you have a more realistic version of love. I think it's been like, I think you feel deflated and raw and a little tender and very self-protective. And you're going on this healing journey, but I think you're going to have dreams that may surprise you. Like maybe what this person exploited in you, like what you wanted most, was coming from this neediness anyways. And maybe once you start poking around in there, you find ways to meet those needs for yourself. And you might find that once you meet those needs in a way that's not through like a romantic partner, but it's through other avenues in your life, like yourself, creative projects, friends, that actually it opens up another life path that you want to go down more. And it actually connects you with the dharmic energy. Maybe this craving was what was blocking. Yeah, I'm hearing that. Like, I'm kind of hearing like Jesus rolling away the stone of like the grave, but like this feels like a stone energy. And it feels like this was it, you needed a lot of force behind it to kind of blast this fantasy out of the way. You are brave, okay? I just want to say this. That's what this is to me. You know, people just really misunderstand courage. You are very brave, okay? Because I believe there's a lot of like sentience in how we plan our lives. For you to face this, as brutal as this was, I feel like this was brutal. Like carnage, and just like, I just keep getting that you like cuddled up with a razor blade like right next to your heart. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for you to have gone through that, you are very brave, okay? So just don't forget that. You're very brave, and I just heard the worst of it is over. The rest is processing and it's healing. And yeah, it's hard to look at, but I feel like the shit's already happened. Like, I feel like the worst of it's already happened. And it's just a matter of like looking it in the face, understanding what it is, and being like, wow, okay, this is a new low that I didn't think people were capable of, but we have folded that in. It was a difficult learning. I could not have learned that from a true soulmate. So, yeah. And cutting away from this. And for some of you, this is so weird, and I feel like this might baffle you, but I feel like this person might be planning to come back around, and that might have always been the plan. You may have not responded to a message, or you didn't respond in the way that they wanted you to respond, and so maybe it's thrown a wrench in things. But I honestly think that this person maybe always planned about coming back around to you and making some kind of bullshit excuse or apologizing. I think you halfway expect it now because you've caught on to the cycle. This person maybe doesn't know that. So this might be an ace up your sleeve that you have, that you're actually not open to a conversation with this person or messages with this person. Like, I honestly don't think they're going to be greeted in the way that they are used to being greeted by people, because this person is such a master manipulator. And who knows what effect that's going to have on this person. Let me just see. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be sad. This person does care about you. They do. It's just that they've got a long way to go, like, before they can sustain a relationship. And for some of you, I feel like you're the lighthouse on the hill for this person. You're kind of like, maybe, I don't know, because I feel like this is going to really hit in their space really hard too, that they don't get you, and that you're basically done with this. And yeah, that this isn't working, and maybe that they need to end this cycle. For some, I mean, I don't know if they're going to take that and run with it, or if they're just going to fall back into other cycles, because this person has like bad habit energy. But I do feel like this is going to land in this person's space. I think they're going to hear something about you. Yeah, about some kind of ending. And it also might have to do with you moving on. Like, when you do put this behind you and you move on and you find someone else, someone who is all the things that this person was pretending to be, but in a grounded way, in a real way. And don't judge that person as unfavorably. Judge this person unfavorably, you know, because nobody wants to be compared to a fantasy, you know? And that's what this person basically sold you, but they don't even live up to that fantasy. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I think that is going to be very sad for this person, because I think that for a lot of you, you were the favorite. Like, you were the person that stood out. But I feel like that's part of the cycle that you broke too, because you could have been very flattered that you were the favorite, because you might have known that this person was a player, and maybe you thought you could change him or her, but because you knew that they liked you. But I think you were settling for being the favorite amongst many, instead of being someone's one and only, and somebody worth like protecting, and doing the sustainability thing, and being bored sometimes, and being somebody's like person, and going through all of life's ups and downs, and letting that be the tapestry that it is, like, with one person, you know? And I think that you might find that with someone else, but it will never live up to a fantasy. And I think that's something that you're learning here too. Yeah, and I'm seeing that mind energy now, like that moon and Mercury energy, kind of, I'm seeing a kaleidoscope. Like, you're realizing that your emotions and your cravings can really affect the way that you're seeing things, and maybe your ability to be objective. And maybe you had an empress around you, like a friend, trying to tell you this, trying to warn you, and maybe you dismissed it. But I just want to point out that Ram Dass quote, like, that we all walk each other home, that's what friends are for. And that's what, like, maybe your therapist, or that's other people that you trust and respect around you. Those people can help you be objective when you can't, because we outsource a lot of things, and it's not wrong. Like, we're social creatures, we need each other, and it's okay for you to have an emotional experience, you know. But when somebody that you trust, I think this may be another lesson that some of you are learning. When somebody that you trust or admire or respect, somebody's been with you for a long time, says, I'm a little concerned about this, or this is my view on it, it's important to listen, and it's important to just acknowledge that your emotional state and the specific blend of things that you want and what you need most and what you crave most creates a blind spot. And that it's quite a gift to have somebody who is able and willing to stand in that space and be kind of the lead balloon and the voice of reason that points out the logic in the situation. Something here's not adding up. Like, I just want you to be careful. Like, that comes from a really good place. And actually, it is necessary for us to be able to rely on certain people to be objective when we ourselves can't be. But this is important to have self-knowledge and to understand what those situations are for yourself, so that your mind works for you and not against you. Because again, the mind is an obstacle on the path to liberation. And again, I feel like this was a tough learning, but you are brave. You are coming out the other side of this, and you will never forget this. I feel like you're ending this cycle here with this person, which kind of feels like the big bad to me, like the big bad. I think for some of you are like, I can't believe this was like my toughest enemy in this life, is somebody that I had so much love for and so much trust and so much hope for, and like it was really the fantasy, you know? But they're just so very selfish. And honestly, this person is very immature, and they have a long way to go, because even if this person wanted to change tomorrow, they're in a habitual way of behaving that's going to take a long time to dismantle. And I don't think that you're the person for them to dismantle with, you know? It's almost like they can't get you in order to dismantle it, because if they get you, then that scratches their itch, that scratches their craving. This person needs to commit to getting sober or getting healthy or something. So I would just, you know, make sure that you're taken care of, and, you know, this God and the universe will take care of this person getting on the path that they need to get on. So anyways, I feel like I've been rambling, but yeah, I feel like you're kind of putting all of this together. You're coming to grips with a lot of things. This experience really did bring a lot together for you. Your inner realm, that moon energy, the mind energy, that Mercury energy, and that hidden enemy was here to expose that, to bring that out, to show you, I think, a major blind spot. So anyways, that's what I have for you guys. If that resonates, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.